not gonna lie, these might be better off court than on. Yo, Zakaragi here for a performance review for the Converse SHAI 001. So before I get into things, you guys know the drill. I need you all to drop a like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel as well. I really need this engagement to fight this battle against the algorithm, so go ahead, do all those three things, and without further ado, let's get straight into this review. So this is SHAI's first ever shoe with Converse, and man, these turned out great. So me, myself, I am from Hamilton, Ontario. Just like SHAI, we're the same age. So we grew up playing against each other, and it's just crazy to see his journey from where it started all the way to where it is now, all manifested into these shoes that you see here in the video. That is crazy, honestly. I'm super happy for him. This is a big moment for him and the city. So really happy to be able to review these shoes for you guys. Now, this shoe does retail for $130 US or $170 Canadian, and I'm starting to notice that this seems to be the standard pricing for shoes these days, at least basketball shoes, because I believe the SHAI 1s were that price, as well as the Luka 4s, and so on and so forth. Now, this is the box that the shoes come with right here. We got this cool gray box with all the SHAI logos on there, and it's a pull-out style lid, so normally there would be a lot of wrapping in there, but I saved you guys the trouble, took it all out, and on the inside it says 2 steps forward, 1 step back in his signature. That's pretty cool, not gonna lie. But now let's start talking about the design of the shoes here. So my only critique about it would be the fact that it uses damn near the same outsole as another Converse shoe that SHAI has hooped in, which is the Converse BBCX Trilliant. So same outsole, and if I'm not mistaken, pretty much the same tooling within the midsole as well. So not too impressed with that, but when it comes to the rest of the shoe, whew, definitely very impressed. This is a fire design. I just love everything about it when it comes like to the zipper or the neoprene puffs. It just has this unique individuality to it that separates it from everything else on the market. Like, this is undeniably SHAI's shoe. Nothing else looks like it. So in my opinion, this looks more like a shoe that is meant for off court that you can wear on court. So now getting into the actual performance side of things here, and starting with the traction, let's talk about the pattern we have going on here first. So we do have this aggressive multi-directional pattern that spans across the entire shoe. Now we have some wavy herringbone patterns, as well as these linear sort of blades within the wavy herringbone. And as far as how this rubber compound feels, it's pretty tough for the most part, honestly, and that just makes sense being that you have the ability to wear these off court as a casual shoe. So they want to try to make this as durable as possible. Now, I didn't wear these for outdoor basketball, just being that it is too cold for me to play outdoor basketball right now. So can't tell you how well they held up on that end, but from my experience playing in these just indoors, the only real wear and tear I can notice on the shoes is actually just on the tip of the toe right here. It's really nothing crazy at all, honestly. But as far as how these played on court, pretty good, honestly, for the most part. On clean courts, you really shouldn't have any problems at all. They're able to stop on a dime almost every single time. But on those dustier courts, they do struggle a bit, just given the fact that the outsole does pick up a good amount of dust, honestly. But as long as you keep up with wiping every so often, you should be good to go. Okay, getting into the cushion setup here, and in the midsole, we do have a full-length bed of foam. Now, I don't know exactly what type of foam this is, but I've looked it up everywhere and I can't find anything specific, so we'll just call it a foam midsole for now. And then within the forefoot, we do have a small rectangular shaped air zoom unit. It's placed sideways like this. So this is pretty similar setup to that of the Nike Gel 1 and 2, and pretty much the exact same thing as the Converse BBCX Trilliant. Now, what you're getting out of this cushion setup is a low to the ground ride with great court feel and some good responsiveness from the forefoot, given the fact that you can really feel that air zoom unit right there. Like when you first put these on, it's very noticeable, which I did enjoy, but it's not as bouncy as that of the air zoom unit in the Nike Gel 1 and 2. Now, when it comes to the impact protection for these guys, it actually surprised me. It was better than I thought it'd be, just given how low to the ground this shoe is. So that was a good surprise. And then when it comes to the casual aspect of these, for me, I wear these shoes for work, 8-hour shifts. I'm always on my feet, and they keep my feet pretty comfy for the most part. Not the most comfortable thing in the world, but it definitely gets the job done. Next, let's talk about the lockdown of the shoe. Now, we do have this inner booty within the shroud of the shoe, and it's an interesting lacing system because we do have these strands, right, that are attached to the bottom of the footbed, and these strands do act as the eyelets as well. So when you lace these up, they do a great job of acting as little seat belts for your feet and really hug and secure your foot well. But the zipper here is actually my favorite part of the lockdown because it's actually functional. There's a notable difference between when you have it zipped up versus zipped down. So when you do zip these up, you do feel a little more secure on foot on top of already feeling secure from the laces themselves. But if you were to wear these casually, I definitely recommend unzipping it. It does feel a lot more loose and more comfortable. So when it comes to the heel slippage, no problems at all, honestly. And overall, it just felt very contained and secured. And then when it comes to the support of the shoes, I did have one small problem. Now, I felt like there was a bit of instability within the forefoot right here. The outsole could have been extended a bit further out to act as more of an outrigger for these, but this issue wasn't too bad, honestly. But other than that, support was good for the most part. Torsionally, you're good to go on that end. These don't twist all too much, as you can see right here. I don't know if there is a shank plate within the shoes, but it definitely feels like there might be one. So that does help with preventing your foot from moving in weird ways that it shouldn't. And then on the back half of the shoe, it's pretty beefed up. I mean, we have a dual heel counter setup, and there's more supportive features on the bottom of the shoe, on the heel right there. So you're good to go on that end. So when I was hooping in these, really didn't have any problems at all. All right, so moving along to the materials here, and the first thing I want to address is the creasing situation. So whether you're wearing these on or off the court, creasing is unavoidable. Now, I understand if you care about it if you're wearing these as an off-court shoe, because yeah, you want to make these look as fresh as possible, as new as possible all the time, right? But if you're wearing these as a dedicated basketball shoe on court, who cares if they crease? Like, it's a basketball shoe. You're gonna be playing basketball in them. If they crease, so what? That is the least of your worries. So I hate when people complain about creasing in basketball shoes. It's the most annoying thing ever, but enough of my rant. When it comes to the actual materials here, now obviously the standout feature are these neoprene puffs right there. They feel pretty nice to the touch, honestly. It's pretty satisfying rubbing your hands against it, but as far as how it feels on foot, comfortable for the most part. I mean, it doesn't restrict movement or anything, and it adds a tiny bit of padding towards the shoe also. But the rest of the shoe is made up of what seems to me like a textured nubuck almost. It looks and feels premium, honestly, despite it probably being a synthetic material, but I just love the way it looks, especially off court too. Now, the tongue we have here is this really interesting design. I don't think I've ever seen this before, but it's pretty well padded, has a split tongue design, so it wraps around your foot pretty well. And then, like I mentioned before, we do have the inner booty within the shroud here, and this is where you're gonna get most of the ventilation because it does have some perforations within it. Now, as far as how these feel on foot when you're playing, wow. So the break-in period for these is very painful. I did not enjoy that whatsoever. I just want to keep that in mind for you guys. It was brutal, honestly, but I would say after 4 to 5 wears, that's when it finally broke in for me, and each and every wear was just excruciating, but afterwards, it does feel better. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. And my next problem with the materials has to be the breathability. It's not very breathable whatsoever, and I'm really not surprised given the materials used on the shoes. You'll probably feel the most breathability when it is unzipped because of the inner booty right there, but when you do have them zipped up, it feels like a sweaty swamp when you play in these. Like, it gets really hot up in there. Just keep that in mind. And finally, when it comes to the fit and sizing for these do run pretty snug and narrow. So if you do plan on playing in these on court, I would recommend going true to size. But if you're a wide footer, go a half size up. Just be prepared for that brutal break-in process. But if you do plan on wearing these off court just casually, I recommend going a half size up. And if you're a wide footer, go a full size up just to avoid that break-in process, and it'll feel much more comfortable on foot. But overall, the Converse SHAI 001 is a solid hoop shoe for sure. Definitely a good starting point for SHAI and Converse, but in my opinion, it's not the best option out there. There are plenty of shoes I'd pick over these, but nonetheless, I still love these, and I definitely like these more as an off-court shoe versus an on-court shoe. But comment down below and let me know what you think about these. If you have any questions, any concerns, or if you just want to share your experience in the comments down below, let me know. I always love hearing from you. But we're at that point in the video now, it's time for hashtag Zakuragi, what you rocking. And for today, I got the OG Kobe 3 right here in the Minneapolis colorway. Love this shoe. So that is it for today. I appreciate you all for watching. I'm signing out. Peace.